wasn't supposed to be home. My flight from Chicago had been delayed, then cancelled, and somehow I ended up on an earlier connection that got me home almost 12 hours ahead of schedule. I remember texting my fiance, "Surprise, I will be home tonight." No response. Not unusual. Ryan was always terrible at checking his phone. I unlocked our apartment around 9 p.m. The lights were on, music was playing, and I heard laughter, female laughter. For a second, I smiled. Maybe his sister was visiting. Maybe friends were over. Then I stepped into the living room and I saw a woman sitting on my couch, drinking wine, wearing my engagement ring, my actual engagement ring. The ring Ryan had proposed with 6 months earlier. The woman looked at me. I looked at her hand. And before either of us could speak, Ryan walked out of his bedroom shirtless. The wine glass slipped from her hand, shattered across the floor, and that's how I learned my fiance was living two completely different lives.
My name is Natalie. I'm 28. And until that night, I genuinely thought I was about to marry the perfect man. Ryan and I had been together for 4 years. We met through mutual friends. He was charming, successful, confident, the kind of guy everyone liked. My parents adored him. My friends approved. Even strangers seemed drawn to him. When he proposed, nobody was surprised, including me. Everything seemed perfect. At least from my side. The woman on my couch slowly stood up. She looked horrified, confused, embarrassed, but not guilty. That detail mattered later, because guilty people know they're doing something wrong. This woman looked like her entire world had just exploded, exactly like mine. Ryan froze. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. Then he said the dumbest thing I've ever heard. "This isn't what it looks like." I laughed. Actually laughed. Because there was literally no other possible explanation. A woman wearing my engagement ring in my apartment, while my fiancé stood shirtless beside her. What exactly was the alternative explanation? Then something unexpected happened. The woman looked at me and asked, "Who are you?" I felt sick. I thought she was mocking me, but she seemed genuinely confused. Then she pointed at Ryan and said, "I'm his fiancé." The room went silent. I stared at her, then at Ryan, then back at her. Neither of us were angry at each other. Yet, we were both looking at him, waiting. Ryan looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him alive. The woman introduced herself. Her name was Emily, and she'd been dating Ryan for almost 3 years. Ryan kept trying to explain. Neither of us let him. Every lie he'd told one of us eventually contradicted a lie he'd told the other. And the entire story unraveled, piece by piece, like a cheap sweater. We learned he had separate social circles, separate vacations, separate stories, different versions of himself. To Emily, he was a future husband building a life. To me, he was exactly the same thing. Neither of us knew the other existed. Then came the biggest reveal. Emily wasn't the only other woman. There was a third. I wish I was joking. While we sat there comparing stories, Emily checked social media. She found photos, tagged locations, comments, patterns. A woman named Jessica appeared repeatedly. At first we thought she was a friend, then we dug deeper, and suddenly everything made sense. Ryan had been seeing her too, for over a year. When confronted, Ryan finally admitted it. 3 relationships, at the same time, for years. No remorse, no shame, just excuses. He said he loved all of us, as if that somehow made it better. I ended the engagement immediately. Emily did too. Ryan cried, begged, promised therapy, promised change, promised everything. Nobody cared anymore. Trust was gone. But here's where things get interesting. Because the story should have ended there. It didn't. 3 weeks later, Emily called me. Discovered something strange. Ryan wasn't devastated. He wasn't depressed. He wasn't mourning the loss of 2 fiancés. He was already dating someone new. At first I didn't care. Not my problem anymore. Then Emily sent screenshots. The new woman had no idea, just like we hadn't. Ryan was repeating the cycle, again. Part of me wanted to ignore it, move on, forget him forever. But another part remembered how awful that night felt. How humiliating it was. How many years I'd lost. So Emily and I made a decision. We contacted her. Her name was Lauren, 26, sweet, funny, completely unaware. When we showed her evidence, she cried. Then she got angry. Then she agreed to help. A week later, Ryan invited Lauren to dinner. What he didn't know was that Emily and I were waiting there too. When Ryan walked into the restaurant, his face turned completely white. Lauren sat on one side, Emily sat on the other. I sat directly across from him. It looked like an intervention, or a firing squad. Maybe both. Nobody yelled. Nobody caused a scene. That would have been too easy. Instead, we simply presented facts. Dates, messages, photos, receipts, every lie, every overlap, every betrayal. Ryan couldn't talk his way out. For the first time since I'd known him, his charm didn't work. Because charm only works when people still believe you. And none of us did. Lauren left. Emily left. I left. Ryan sat alone, staring at the table, exactly where his choices had brought him. That was almost 2 years ago. Today, Emily is one of my closest friends, which sounds crazy, but trauma creates strange bonds. The woman I once thought was the other woman turned out to be another victim, just like me. Ryan occasionally tries reaching out. New phone numbers, new emails, new apologies. I never respond.
Sometimes people ask if I regret those 4 years. Honestly, not anymore. Because the experience taught me something important. When someone spends all their energy maintaining a perfect image, eventually the truth catches up. And when it does, the collapse is spectacular. Ryan thought he would keep 3 separate lives forever. Instead, all the 3 women ended up comparing notes. And that was the one thing he never planned for. So here's my question. If you discovered your partner was secretly engaged to someone else, would you confront them immediately or quietly gather evidence first?